Peace, what's up? This is Jarrell with Quantum Light Consciousness. Today I want to talk about upgrading your inner child. This is a cool topic because a lot of people cover a lot of context and a lot of material regarding the inner child. And I just like to go over it on a more of a level of depth and emotional embodiment, if that makes any sense. Only because the inner child actually is a real multidimensional being within inside you. They have their own voice, they have their own discernments, they have their own motivations, and it's kind of like the way you've seen the world as a child. That's kind of the way they still see it subconsciously within you. If you are not aware of that, please be aware of that now. You are still you, 7 years old, 6 years old, 5, 4, however many years you resonate with the inner you who's still a child. That's still you, and that being is still eminent in your life today. So today we're going to talk about that being, and we're going to talk about connecting with that being and having your higher self help you out to step more into that being in your day-to-day life. Yeah, your inner child is probably your most powerful aspect on your level of soul stream. The inner child can run you based off of your highest desires and best enjoyment in your life. Even if you work a job and maybe you like it, maybe you don't, but off on the weekends, you do what you do like, hopefully. And that's kind of like the beginning of, where the inner child steps into your life and is able to kind of cultivate that feeling of enjoyment every day. Instead of your soul kind of just getting slowly, just like suffocated every day from working and being surrounded by things and doing stuff that you do not especially, want to spend your time on. And when you begin the healing process, or when you start the Supercharge healing process, which is what I'm about to speak about to you, that's when a lot of your life experience gets overwritten and you begin to look through the eyes of a child. You get to see how your inner self, your inner divine child self sees as an adult today. It's really a resourceful aspect of yourself that you can tap into and you can rely on for you to be more effective in your life and just more enjoying in your social life and enjoyable to your other people, even when you're just with yourself, or in your relationship or whatnot. So to upgrade your inner child and to supercharge the healing of your inner child, this is what just happened, what I happen to do. I do a lot of meditation and inner work, so I'm just sharing this with you guys. What I did was I looked up to my highest cosmic self, my Lyran self, and I asked this cosmic version of myself to help me heal my inner child. So I know where he's located on my soul stream, which is all the way up and to my left. I'm in my center. I'm in a pillar of light. I'm centered in my pillar of light. And on my left is a huge sun, a huge white sun when I look directly up. And on my right is just darkness. So on my left, I, call him up from my left, my light side. And I call him up and I basically envision a huge white hand coming down from my left. And just make sure it's your left. And what you're doing here is you're basically kind of just like handing off a piece of yourself to the highest, most evolved version of yourself. So what you do is you make a double of your inner child, all right? And then you kind of like send them off to like visit your grandest granddad, your grandest grandparent. That's what I did. I sent off my inner child, and you kind of reassure yourself that it's going to be okay. And I did that, and when I did that, a whole lot of stuff started happening. I would just get flashbacks to my childhood, just overlaid with extreme love and compassion for me as a developing being and for the people around me, and just a whole bunch of appreciation and supporting gratitude, just of emotion with the visual that I got. That's how I knew it actually was making a difference. Now, this move does actually help you balance out your inner child, and and it's going to basically cause you to get more appreciative overall. And kind of like, if your inner child is needing of a lot of healing, this probably could be one of the best things you could do starting out, honestly. Either way, after a few days, you can ask to integrate the child version of your highest cosmic self. So that's what I did a couple days later. I asked for that, and then what I got was basically, in my space, I asked to integrate, and what came down was basically like a white child version of a humanoid lion. He was like white. He was like a white lion with like tiger stripes, like a kid Simba. And I integrated him into my heart chakra. And that's another upgrade that kind of causes like a higher balance of like playfulness and confidence. So you can do that as well. So after you integrate your inner child with your highest cosmic self, you're kind of just going to get an increase of playful, creative energy. It's going to come in like surges, and you're kind of just going to want to just start moving around, start doing stuff, start like being active. Maybe you work out, or you go to the gym, or you go to the park, or you ride a bike, or you do something. You're going to want to start doing that again, because that creative force is going to start enlivening itself within you again, and you're going to start feeling vigor and energy within you. So when I do this stuff and then I record it and I tell you guys, I'm literally telling you, like, that's the energy that I feel, and I just want to bring that across because it's the truth. At least it's my truth, so just take it for what it is. But that is something that you can utilize within yourself, because the inner child kind of, it gets, I don't want to say shunned, but it doesn't get as much attention as I feel as though it deserves in most people's lives. Because, it's like you get to a certain age and it's kind of like, oh, you got to grow up and you got to do stuff that you don't want to do, which everybody has to do. Everybody has to do shit that they don't want to do. And that has to do with kind of like selling a piece of yourself away. Like, I always bring up Game of Thrones, like the character Jon Snow. Like, on one of the episodes, they're like, oh yeah, kill the boy, Jon Snow. You gotta do this shit to save or prove yourself. Like, that's probably the worst thing you can say to anybody is kill the boy. No, that's awful. Like, that's what people do, though. That they literally, pieces of themselves die off, or the inner child kind of leaves your body, leaves your energy field, and you kind of have to bring them back in and heal them. So you can do Ho'oponopono, or you can do different types, or you can do the merging with your highest cosmic self. The same way you kind of talk to a child is the same way you talk to yourself, and the same way your child version speaks is kind of like the same way you used to speak when you were that age. And it's kind of like, eye of the beholder. You can perceive yourself for who you truly are, unless you find somebody else with some type of clairvoyant abilities who can look at you and kind of like say, oh, this is your soul essence or whatnot. There's people who do that, but you are your best mirror. You kind of want to stick with who you know, because you know yourself the best. And that's a fact. So your inner child is also an aspect of your light body. You exist as pure light, basically, in essence, as spirit, as pure, like a light form plasma being. And your inner child is an aspect of that light body. If you want to view yourself, just view yourself as like an illuminated, fully bright white little child, you know? And you as a full illuminated white light, bright, human, full-size being. And you kind of exist within yourself, inside your own heart. You know, you can use how your heart is as maybe like a, you know, as like a diamond, like an octahedron or an emerald, and have like you like being there. Like that's honestly what I use. And then it's kind of like your center for, you know, having your setup for who you are. You have your higher self, and you have your inner child in there. And when you work with your inner child and you start to be able to interact multidimensionally with different types of beings, you can integrate different aspects of your inner child. Some people do have different genders of inner children, because all humans are actually androgynous. You know, you're kind of born as spirit, as both masculine and feminine in every level, even genders. So some people do have both little boy and little girl inner selves. So, you know, whoever you are, you know, it depends like who you resonate most with and who you decide to work more with. Because when you start to integrate your higher selves, you eventually do integrate their inner children, and all of your higher selves are both males and females. So yeah, because kids don't have any preconditioned limits or filters, they'll kind of just blurt anything out. They'll run around, you know, they'll play, you know, roughhouse. They'll scream and yell out of, you know, drop of a hat. You know, they're always kind of like on that edge. And they're always there. They're always, you know, alive. They're always like fueling with life, and kind of like looking for excitement, or looking to play, or looking to create something. And that's you at your core, honestly. That's how you exist. You exist as a pure being of energy, you know, pure ball of energy who's looking and always like witnessing life, you know, as it is. You know, even if, you know, you kind of have, you know, the day-to-day routine where you got to get stuff done, you got to kind of just get wrapped up in the busy, you know, you know, always busy, doing something, never time for anything. You're always, you know, looking for what's next. But, you know, you kind of do have to take a breath and just breathe and just look at your environment, look at your body, look at your soul, look at who you are, look at what you are. You're more than just a human, all right? You're a multidimensional being who has multiple aspects within inside yourself. And when you see that, there's so much work, there's so much development, there's so much expansion, and there's so much richness and depth that you can move into. And you stop wanting to kind of just be busy, even though, you know, you have to get stuff done, but it's like, you know, it's kind of like an underlying ethereal energy that you're moving through your life with when you start to integrate your inner child and work with them on that level. So if you like this video, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And I'm always available for sessions. If you like one of those, I'm available at quantumlight.net. I do healing and intuitive coaching. Thanks so much.